Page 19, Ode to Joy, some more. This is a continuation of the same song from the previous page. They just split the song up into two different lessons. In this lesson, they're introducing you to another kind of note called an eighth note. Just keep in mind it just divides. Just keep it simple. Don't make this complicated. A whole note, you have a whole. If you take a whole and you divide it in half, you get half. So a whole note is the same as two half notes. Take a half note and cut it, you get two quarter notes. Take a quarter note and cut it, you get two eighth notes. It just keeps dividing. And we can keep going. 16th notes, 32nd notes, 64th notes, 128th notes, 256 notes, whatever. Don't have those. But the point is you just keep cutting it in half. So each of those just plays twice as fast as the one above it is all. They show the symbols for them. Look on the right-hand side here on the examples where it says rest. That's showing you the eighth rest also. But the eighth note, it looks like a quarter note, but it's got a little flag. That's an eighth note. Now, if you look in the music, you'll see a lot of times you have two eighth notes that are beamed together. They do that because it's easier to read the music. It's easier to read the rhythm. They will beam the eighth notes according to the beat or according to the feel. So they'll do these eighth notes, and what we're doing right now, according to the beat. So they'll beam two of them together because that's one beat, in 3/4 time or 4/4 time or whatever. There's different ways of counting eighth notes. Different teachers teach different methods. I had to put an and, same as the book does, in between the numbers. So the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. For the eighth notes, it's just an and in between. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So those are eighth notes. They go twice as fast. And in eighth rest, they show that up there. It's got a little line with a little flag that goes off to the left, and it's important. If you're hand drawing those, make sure that flag goes off to the left, because if it goes off to the right, that's a different symbol. We don't use that symbol anymore, fortunately. As I said, music has evolved. If you looked at music that was printed 100 years ago or more, the real old stuff, you might see the old symbol where it goes up and the flag goes off to the right. That is the old symbol for quarter rest. So the eighth rest and the quarter rest used to look a lot alike. And now that quarter rest, that old thing's been phased out. We use the squiggly diving bird thing as a quarter rest now. And you're thinking, well, okay, if they have two quarter rests, do they beam them together? And the answer is no. Only the notes get beamed together. The quarter rest have to stand alone. Now we get to talk about dotted rhythms. So, again, people struggle with dotted rhythms. Look at the bottom of the page in the last measure. Underneath, in parentheses, they give the dotted rhythm. They did on the previous page too. A dotted rhythm is simply a rhythm that involves a dotted note. If you can just keep in mind the rule for the dots, it's all pretty simple because it's the same rule regardless of what the note is. And that is that the dot gets half the value of the note. You're just adding, you're making the note last a little longer. It's like a dotted half note. I told you to just memorize a dotted half note's the same as 3/4 notes. Period. That's just across the board it is. The reason is because the half note is the same as 2/4 notes. The dot gets half the value of that. Put them together, it's 3. That's why. Well, a dotted quarter note here and an eighth note. A dotted quarter note is the same as 3 eighth notes. See, the dotted note is the same as 3 of whatever the next note down is. A dotted whole note would be the same as 3 half notes, because it's a dotted half notes the same as 3/4 notes. A dotted quarter notes the same as 3 eighth notes. A dotted eighth notes the same as 3 16th notes. That's it. That's as complicated as it gets. So you're just thinking, hold that note down a little longer and then play it. We try and be accurate with this. We don't just estimate it. We'll do more on dotted rhythms when we actually get them in the music. Now let's look at this Ode to Joy thing and see what we have. We have 2 lines, and this time it does have a thin and thick bar line at the end, so this is the end of the piece. Treble and bass clef signs again, 4/4 time signature again. I have a bunch of quarter notes and eighth notes and half notes. Now both hands are involved here. The right hand's playing first and then the left hand. So try and get the notes and all. And again, if you don't know the names of the notes, do the play it and say it drill until they're comfortable. But I'm going to pretend we did that. And it starts out with second finger on D here. That puts the right hand here in C position. And the left hand, when it comes in at the end of the line, is the thumb on the G here. Now hopefully you know that's a G by now because we've been using them forever. It's here, and that puts the hand here. So we're in C position in both hands. And you just kind of play a 1 and 2 and. Now I only count the 1 and 2 and 3 and when I need it because I'm too lazy to do it all the time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so I only count it when I need it. The second measure, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go on. And this line is the same as the second line on the previous page. You can play that. Now once I have the hands working okay, then I go back over it carefully and slowly and I work out the hesitations. Once I have the hesitations gone, and I can play this without looking at the keyboard eventually, then I think about the articulation. And that's where we get these phrase marks and the big words in the middle of the page, phrase marks. Ooh. It's another curved line. It's another thing the curved line is used for. All right, let's talk phrases. Now this can get confusing, so just calm down. I'll talk about it more and more. When we talk, we generally talk in sentences. We talk in a sentence, we think in sentence, it's a thought. It's a complete thought. A sentence is usually a complete thought, unless you have a run-on sentence, which then you go on crazy, and then everybody gets bored. No. Music has sentences too. Musical sentences, musical thoughts. Now for me, to hear the musical thought, I have to speed up the melody because it's easier for me to hear. Is that a musical thought, a complete thought, or just a part of a thought? Look at this Ode to Joy here. See, that could almost be one long thought. On the other hand, I could have just the first two measures as one thought. And then go on. I don't think so. I think all four measures is one long thought. But they don't. They've split it up. And then the bottom line, you see that curved line goes out? They're telling you that's all one thought. Yeah, it's all one musical thought. It's complete in itself. And that's a phrase. It's a musical sentence. Some phrases are marked with the curved lines, some phrases are not. I mean, on page 18, though there are phrases there, but they're not marked because they didn't tell you the symbol. But on page 18, each line is one phrase. So the idea is, it's a musical thought. You're going to lift up between them, like taking a breath. Just you cut the last note of the phrase a little bit short so you can lift up because the beat has to be steady here. Just a little lift, just not a big lift, don't get excited, just a little lift. Lift up, just like taking a breath. And that's how we articulate phrases. That's part of articulation. So we add the articulation. Then we add the dynamics, and this is loud. Forte is loud. Whatever you think loud is. And you stay loud for the whole thing. Think about the interpretation. You see, you got to get past the mechanics, the notes and the rhythm and the counting and all that stuff. You got to get beyond that, where that's sort of automatic to you and you can start feeling the music. That's where the interpretation starts to happen. That natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now, in 4/4 time, I haven't told you before, but there's actually another natural accent on beat 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's not as strong as the first beat. That's always the strongest, but you can feel that here. Exaggerating a few. these natural accents as you go through it. Now, really to get the whole thing, we need to take both of these pages and play it at all. So we need to start on page 18, and we need to just keep going to page 19. So really it's 4 lines long. And I need to add the phrase marks on page 18. So we're going to lift up at the end of the line, on the first line, like taking a breath. Yeah, but page 18 is soft, page 19 is loud. So it would be more like this. Start on page 18. Again, please don't copy me. You feel the music, you get into it, make it yours. Well, how fast you go or whatever, it's not fast, it's not really slow, it's just kind of in the middle. Let's play the whole thing together. Both pages, 18 and 19 together, slowly, just to make sure we got all the notes and the rhythms okay. I'm not going to do louds and softs, just the notes and the rhythms. I am going to lift up between the phrases. I do the articulation in Play With Me's, I just don't do dynamics. So I'll give us 4 counts. Start on page 18. 1, 2, ready, go.